come up onto Cronkivody Straight, and the end of Cronkivody, which is without doubt in the top 3 or 4 daunting fast corners of the circuit, Jamie's crashed, and it was just absolutely horrific. I just really hope he's okay, because you don't want to see that thing happen to anyone, you know, especially another fellow co-rider that I only just said g'day to in the morning in the paddock, you know, so it was pretty full on. He came off, bike went into the hedge, back across the road again, and the fuel tank had split and it just went up in a ball of flames. It was like something out of a Hollywood movie. I come over the hill, quite committed to the corner, I just saw flames and I just grabbed the brakes. I didn't know whether to go left or right. The bike was spinning like a top down the middle of the road on fire. And I just aimed to the right, went through the flames, hit some bodywork that had come off his bike and bounced out the other side okay. And just out of the corner of my eye I saw Steve Mercer. He was feet off the pegs but braking down the side of the road, so he'd obviously stayed on as well. So I stopped a couple of corners later and sat in a field really and just waited to hear the news. The race was quickly stopped. Helicopter came and landed on the other side of the hedge, and I went to go up and have a look just to see how they were, but the marshal said that it was best not to. He said it looked like a bomb site with bikes and debris everywhere, so absolutely horrendous and just shocking. So news at the moment is Jamie's in hospital, and that's all we know, but look, at least he's in hospital, apparently in a serious condition, but you know, that's yeah, probably the best you could hope for after crashing there. So to say that was a lot to take in is one thing, but then after about half an hour we got signal from a marshal. We got to follow a marshal back to the paddock, come back down the mountain, leaving the visor open, sitting up on the bike, getting a bit of air in the face, starting to feel human again, and of all things to happen, a seagull flew off the bank and straight into my face, hit the front of the bike and hit my helmet, sitting up in 4th gear at the time, so I was probably doing near 100 miles an hour and literally felt like it ripped my head off my shoulders. So that was absolutely horrendous. So I came back not in a real good way, to be honest, and one of the course doctors here were brilliant. They got me down to Isle of Scott for some physio on my neck and just to cool me off and calm me down, because I was in a bit of a shock state. And we only had about 40 minutes before the restart, so I didn't know whether we'd go out, but you know, haven't got this far in racing from giving up easy, so I thought, no, head back down. I want to finish the TT with a result. Try to blank everything out and just go around and ride my motorbike and try to enjoy the 4-lap restart. Got off to a not a bad start. My fuel cap came loose, braking to Belaf Bridge, face full of fuel. And a lot of times in racing, before bad things happen, there's a lot of signs, and I thought, well, you know, I've ridden through a fireball, I've been hitting the head with a Seagull, now my fuel cap's come loose, like maybe today's just not my day. So I pulled on the footpath, reattached the fuel cap and thought, just going to ride around and try to enjoy it, and came into the pit stop. Wasn't feeling great. I dropped back from I think 17th to 35th for stopping with the fuel cap. First race this week we're 18th. I'd already gone quicker than that lap time wise, but I wanted to get a better position, so I put my head down for the last 2 laps and really started working, and went from 35th down to my last pit board showed me P19, so back into the top 20 and moving through the field quite quickly, because I was starting to get some momentum on and feeling good, and just coming up onto the mountain on the last lap, just as I was driving out of the hairpin, I felt a kick in the back of the bike. I knew there was something wrong. It was a metallic crunching, so I pulled the clutch and coasted to a stop, and back sprocket's broken. There's half a dozen teeth snapped off the sprocket, which pretty lucky I felt that and called it, because if that had happened another mile or two up the road, or another mile up the road, I would have been doing 190 miles an hour. And when a sprocket breaks one tooth, very soon the rest break. When a chain comes off on the back wheel, it locks, and I guess I'm not sitting here all doom and gloom. I've just had one of the most hardcore days of motorbike riding I've ever had in my life, and it's just, to be honest, my neck now, it feels like I've been smacked in the face with a baseball bat, albeit with a helmet on. And emotionally, after riding through a fireball and then not finishing the last race, it's been hell, but you know what? I'm in one piece. But to say it's been an emotional TT is just doesn't even scratch the surface really. So right now I'm going to tuck into a pint of Guinness, and then as I'm doing that, I'm going to walk back and see my girls. I think they're down at the house having a nap, and try to find out how Jamie is. You know, I haven't spoken to, I believe, Ivan Linton and Steve Mercer went through the scene. Neither of them went out in the restart, and I don't blame them. I very nearly didn't myself, because that was it was an absolutely horrific scene, and you brush yourself off, remind yourself it'll never happen to you, and get back out there.